why do I prefer buying deals from wholesalers instead of going directly to sellers or agents? So this is a great question. And as someone, me, who has wholesaled easily over 100 deals, the majority of them being cash and then some being creative, I learned that if you are a cash wholesaler, there's like a large assignment fee that you can generate. For creative deals, for the most part, there's not a huge assignment fee that you can generate, but you are spending a lot of time. Let's say you're trying to get a creative deal under contract. You have to pull a list of people, right? You have to have a motivated list of people that you're going to target, skip trace that list. So get all of their contact information, put them in your CRM, reach out to them. For every 100 that you talk to, maybe 10 would be potentially interested in that. And then for those 10, maybe you'll put less than 5 of those under contract, and that'd be a pretty freaking high success rate. And you're going to put maybe less than 5 of those under contract. So at this point, you have spent a bunch of time, money, and energy to potentially generate up to 5 deals, put them under contract, and they may not be great fit for your overall buy box. So in my opinion, my time is much better spent connecting with wholesalers who are already putting these deals under contract. And for me to identify, is this a great deal for me? Or maybe the deal that they put under contract is not, but I, as a super investor, can identify, hey, if I was able to tweak this seller finance interest rate, or if we're able to drop the entry cost by X amount of dollars, this would be a good deal for me. My time is better spent identifying what are good deals from other people, right? They put it under contract. My job is then to say, is this a good deal for me or should I renegotiate it? And then raising money, right? You guys hear, I mean, I've raised millions of dollars to build my portfolio. There's no better cheat code in real estate investing than leverage. And leverage comes from through the banks, through the sellers, or through capital partners where you're providing them these investment opportunities. You're leveraging their capital to grow your investment portfolio. Yes, they get solid investment returns or ownership benefits, but it's also benefiting me because if I'm putting little to none of my own money, my returns are extremely high or infinite. So my time is better spent instead of trying to talk to hundreds of potentially motivated sellers, finding the few that are actually motivated and then putting them under contract. My job is to look at deals that other people have already put under contract, buy them as is, or renegotiate them, and then raise money to buy my deals. So once again, the best use of my time to scale a portfolio is to find great deals, raise money for those deals, not to talk to hundreds of potentially motivated sellers to then potentially put a few properties under contract. And that's not really scalable. Like, yes, some people are specialized in pay per click or pay per leads, or, they're working in multiple markets, or you can very hyper target a market. But if you are open to a variety of markets like I am, and you are looking to find great deals efficiently, you can do your own direct acquisition. I've done plenty of direct acquisitions for my own portfolio, but the majority of the deals that I buy and have been buying for the last 2 years, which have allowed me to scale, are by spending my time and energy buying deals from other people. They're doing all the work. I am more than happy to pay them their $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 assignment fee for them doing all of that work. Because what a wholesaler is doing is they're putting in their time, money, and energy to potentially have a property under contract to then be able to sell to someone, and that is when they get paid. Well, when I am just focused on buying deals instead of going directly to sellers or agents, I'm not spending any money. Yes, I'm spending time and energy on analyzing these deals, or I'm not spending any money until the closing date. I put a little bit of money down for earnest money deposit, right, to put the property under contract. However, the first time I'm actually spending money is when I'm closing, and that is my capital partner putting the money in to cover their costs. So what I mean to say is it's less risk in the sense of I'm not spending all this time, money, and energy to potentially get a deal and then potentially make money from that. The first time I'm really spending money is when we're actually closing on that property, buying that property, right? That is when we're spending our money. That is when we're paying the wholesaler. So a wholesaler is putting a lot of time, money, and energy to potentially sell a contract to make $10,000, where my time and energy is primarily spent once I identify a deal and I'm closing on it, I'm owning on it, and then that is then funded by my capital partners, whether it's a private money lender, private money partner. They're the ones funding that, and I haven't had to invest any money up until that point to decide if I want to buy a deal. That's one big reason. I don't think your time, money, and energy is best spent. If you're a buyer, if you're a true buyer, I don't think it's best spent trying to put deals under contract where you can just try to identify deals that make sense for you to buy and raise money. I think that is a better use of your time. That's one thing, right? Secondarily, I don't like the urgency and time demand required from wholesaling. For example, you could be talking to a motivated seller. It's happened to me plenty of times. And maybe they try to call you and you're not able to answer that call because you have something else going on, or someone else calls them at the perfect time. And they end up, even though you've talked to them 5 times, 7 times, you built this relationship, they're motivated. But now because the other person hit them at the exact time, or you missed their call, they may not be willing to work with you anymore. I don't like to work on other people's timelines, other people's schedules on their urgency, where like, oh, they needed this done at this moment. If you didn't, then it doesn't make sense for them anymore. I don't like to work on other people's timeline. It's not conducive to the way that I like to operate. It's not conducive to my lifestyle. For some, awesome, do that. That's, that's your job. That's your job. You're going to make this your active income source. You are going to be working on other people's timelines. For me, that's never something that I wanted to do or be part of. So that's another reason my wholesaling as a whole never made sense for me. Even though I was doing it, it didn't make a lot of sense for me compared to just being a buy and hold real estate investor. Ironically enough, I started as a buy and hold real estate investor, then became a wholesaler, and then I had to just stop wholesaling so I could just quadruple down on buying deals. And for a lot of you who've seen the journey, you've seen how much I've been able to scale by just focusing on finding deals from that other people put under contract and raising money to buy those deals. You've seen the scalability of that, as opposed to trying to do all of it. So I prefer buying deals from wholesalers instead of going direct to sellers or agents, because I think it's a better use of my time, money, and energy to buy deals from other people and raise money than it is to go direct to agents and sellers. Secondarily, if you are working with sellers and agents directly, a lot of the time it's an urgency thing. Like, you're spending all this time, money, and energy to then get this motivated seller who's now open to selling. But unless you're available exactly when they need you to, they sign the contract, everything is done, like in their time frame, then it more than likely someone else is going to get it, because we're all kind of hitting the same lists. So I don't like working on other people's timeline. That's another big one. The worst case scenario, if a wholesaler has a phenomenal deal and I underwrite it and I'm not able to make an offer right away, or I don't underwrite it fast enough, okay, someone else bought that deal, whatever. Like, there's no money lost in that scenario. I've developed my skill sets further. I've analyzed another deal. I know this wholesaler puts good deals under contract. I need to perform quicker. But the worst case scenario is I don't buy that deal, whatever. That is way better of a downside risk than spending time, money, and energy trying to get a motivated seller that then now just gets rid of that deal, works with someone else to get that deal across the finish line. So those are two big reasons. My time, money, and energy is better spent doing buyer activities, finding deals to actually buy and own, and then not working on other people's timelines or raising money, right? Yeah. So spending my time and energy on finding deals to buy and raising money, that is a better use of my time as a buy and hold investor than putting deals directly under contract with sellers or agents. And then secondarily, I do not like to work on other people's timelines. One thing I will caveat is, yes, some of the best freaking deals that you buy are going to be the ones that you put directly under contract with sellers or agents. It's not only because of the assignment fees you would avoid, but because if you are very intentional about what you are looking to buy in a specific market, you can sniper certain properties. And I still sometimes do that. Part of it is I enjoy it. Like, I really genuinely enjoy putting some of these deals under contract. I love that piece of it. And part of it is there's like only so many deals that wholesaler could put under contract that would make sense for my buy box. For example, I was able to buy a $2 million mansion in San Diego, which $2 million in San Diego is not a lot, but it's 6,500 square foot, huge property. And I was able to structure this deal because I was direct with the seller and agent on this one. I was able to structure it where I literally paid the seller $0. The agent got less than 1% commission fee on that. And actually, the seller ended up paying me when I bought this property because he couldn't pay his half of the agent commission. So he ended up paying me after the fact to be able to buy this property from him, because this was a pre-foreclosure. He was just about to not be able to make the next month's payment. And he knew what was going to happen with his VA loan. If he got foreclosed on, he was going to ruin his credit. He was going to lose his ability to use the VA loan again. So I structured it in a way that, hey, I'm going to buy this property. I'm sorry, you're not going to get anything out of it in this scenario because you're about to lose it for nothing anyway. I will cover my portion. I'll even cover your portion of the agent commission. But you have to pay me back over time on your piece that I'm covering for you. And I was able to take it over with all of his furnishings and everything. And what he needed was, I don't want to wreck my credit. I don't want to lose my ability to use my VA loan at some point in the future. He already had another property that I was living in, so he didn't need to use it in the near future. So he was able to set up a balloon 12 years out, so he would get his VA loan 12 years after I bought it. So a wholesaler can't really do that very well for you because those are not like conducive deals to the majority of buyers. They're looking at deals in a certain frame. So if you're looking for something crazy like that or something very specific, you might have to be the one to go direct to the seller or agent. And because if you are a really solid buyer or negotiator, you can probably structure these deals. If you're going less on volume and you're being very targeted on the deals you're going for specifically, it might work to your advantage to go directly to the seller or agent. However, if your main goal is to buy and hold as many properties as possible on the path of financial freedom and you want to do that efficiently, then buying deals from wholesalers is always the way to go. If you have a few deals you're trying to sniper, like every once in a while I do, yeah, then it makes sense to go direct with sellers and agents. Because I honestly think there are three main buckets to buying deals. You go direct to sellers and agents, whether it's on or off market. You joint venture with people who maybe have a motivated seller, but they don't know how to put it under contract, or you just buy deals from wholesalers. When I look back in hindsight, well, the majority of my deals have come from buying deals from wholesalers. That's why I share that transparently. In the time that I've saved doing my direct acquisitions, I've been able to build a massive list of capital partners and then raise the money to buy my deals and just to buy deals from other people and build my skill set of analyzing these deals. So that being said, I'm telling you to go buy deals from wholesalers. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, if you're in sub 2, well, you have the best creative finance real estate investment community there is. Thank you, Pace Morby, for creating this. My mentor, life-changing for me, and he's created this amazing community. Whether you're in the paid sub 2 community or the free one, people are quite literally putting deals out there all the freaking time for you to be able to buy them. If you are a super investor, you have superpowers. One of them being the super deals database. It's like Zillow for creative deals. You can literally just go in and say, okay, I want to buy this deal in Texas. I want to buy this $331,000 property. Entry fee is $27,500. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath property, 3% interest rate. I want to take over this property. Or you say, you can go filter the different markets or whatever. You can do whatever. You can filter these things. I might buy this deal right now. Just looking at it, this might be one we analyze next week if it's available. I don't like this interest rate, but $400,000 property in Atlanta, larger property, seller carryback, which means seller financing, which means I can renegotiate the 7%. And it says no entry fee. So I don't know what the heck's going on here. Maybe it's a Morby method. If it says seller carryback, it might be a Morby method. Yep, buyer originates new loan. So it's a Morby method deal. This is one of the many things. I work with a variety of wholesalers that do high volume in our sub 2 community to then be able to get these deals and present them to more buyers, especially my super investors. There's 60 plus super investors that are actual buyers that are going to get deals done. These are the types of tools that you want. That is what super investors is for. Reach out to me and we'll see if you're a great fit for the community. When dealing with wholesalers, how are you not getting pressured on time? It seems all the wholesalers I'm talking to barely give me time to analyze. They all seem to have severe timelines or short timelines. Well, I don't care. I'm the buyer. They don't make money unless I pay them, right? So if they don't have a reasonable timeline for me to be able to analyze this deal and do my due diligence, once again, I hate the urgency. So I'm not going to force myself to get things done on their timeline. So if they did not do a good enough job, if they did not set a far enough closing date and then a reasonable enough due diligence period, well, that's on them. That's not my fault. That's up to them to negotiate these deals better. And I would quite literally tell them, hey, I need X number of days to be able to look at these deals. I mean, honestly, you should be pretty good at looking at these deals within the same day, be able to analyze and provide feedback. In my opinion, you probably need to get a little bit better at analyzing deals. However, it's up to the wholesalers to structure these deals in such a way that is conducive to the end buyer. The problem with most wholesalers, one thing you will learn if you are a wholesaler is the majority of people that put properties under contract are not able to actually dispo them. So for every 10 deals they put under contract, usually like 50% of those never end up getting sold. So they just now wasted their time, money, and energy getting that deal under contract, all of that work, whatever, maybe even lost their EMD to then not even be able to sell that property and make their assignment fee. That's up to them to do a better job as wholesalers to structure it in such a way that makes sense for the end buyer. Because the same way that I buy the majority of my deals from wholesalers, well, wholesalers, every single wholesaler needs to sell their deal to an end buyer. Otherwise, they make no money. Wholesalers make no money putting deals under contract. They make money selling them to end buyers. So if they're not providing a great product, well, it's not surprising that they're unable to then get these deals sold. And one of that is not applying an insane amount of pressure to your buyers. However, if it is a short time frame, get fast at analyzing deals. Sometimes you have to take risk and put a property under contract that may or may not make sense once you do the due diligence and send your contractors out. There's always the risk, right, with investing. It's up to you if you want to put EMD down, like your earnest money deposit down, before you're able to buy these deals, or like get a contractor in there, do your full due diligence. It's ultimately up to you and your risk tolerance. But if wholesalers are pressuring you, well, what's the freaking pressure? I don't care that their deal's not going to, like, if they messed up their timeline, that's on them. That's not on me. Once again, I said I hate urgency. Just because they failed to plan or put a property under contract effectively does not mean that that urgency then goes on to me, right? Like, that's why I already hated wholesaling. So why am I going to apply that same pressure as a buyer?